This is an interesting place. I am so far out in the rural Poland that even the crows carry their compass here. What a massive bunker this is. And here's the thing I was waiting for. The underground.
Führersonderzug America was Adolf Hitler's private mobile command headquarters. It was especially used in the early part of the war. It weighed 1,200 tons. It was 420 meters long. It was literally an Air Force One on wheels. It was well armed, well protected, and ready to serve everything from food, showers, and a shave. Each rail car weighed about 60 tons. It had a speed of up to 120 kilometers an hour. Hitler's personal train car weighed 63 tons, well armored, and the bathroom floor was reinforced, and of course Steinen car had mahogany walls as well. The train would host up to 200 people, staff, VIPs, security details, and at each end it had a flat car with 3 quad 20mm flat guns and their entire crews. The trains had 2 locomotives, both for distance, safety, and endurance. A steam locomotive would go about 300 kilometers before it would need to be filled up, and to start one up from cold would take about 8 hours, so there was always a lot of locomotives standing by at interim parts on the route, so they could just switch locomotives, one that was already heated and filled up. Also, Hitler's personal Mercedes would always be at hand wherever the train was expected to stop, as well as his Focke-Wulf 200 Condor would follow or precede it to nearby airfields should it become necessary. It was a mobile command headquarters. Nothing is more important than communication, and when the train was on the road, it would have a 700-watt shortwave radio to communicate with the outside world. And whenever it pulled into any station, all the local phone networks were already set up along with adapters for the train, so communications could be established through within 20 minutes of the train pulling in. And for security, all documentation and even service notes was destroyed at the end of each day. At the outset of World War II, Hitler had set somewhat of a trend, and now there was about 25 special supertrains constructed for the dignitaries of the Third Reich. Of course, Hitler hosted a vast number of international dignitaries on the train wherever he went. Pierre Laval was one, Pétain, Mussolini, Franco, and Mannerheim were guests in his personal train. Here it is seen pulling into the wolf's lair. And just like the walkways, the trains were covered by camouflage netting. Adolf Galland is visiting with Göring, too. Of course, he had also his personal train built. So the leadership of the Reich wheeling themselves around in super trains, the natural next step was to build super bunkers to protect these, and this is leading us to the small Polish town of Spala.
This is an indication something was here. Huh? I don't have to tell you why. It's completely redundant for me to try to fly a drone over this, isn't it? Look at this damn thing. Wow. Okay. See the mounts for the camouflage netting on the roof?
Spala in what is today Poland was an area well known to the German military already from the First World War, and now during the Second it was an interesting area, occupied at first by the headquarters of the German command staff, Oberstbefehlshaber Ost. An interesting array of bunkers also sprang up in and around the area. Those we'll visit in the next episodes. But with communication and transportation as a hub in place here already, it became an ideal place to place 2 of the largest bunkers of the Second World War. The train bunkers to house Hitler's special train, and of course any other train belonging to any of the other German high command and dignitaries. And this resulted in a considerable military forces being assembled and located here in this small area, with several layers of perimeter security constructed as well, but quite different than what I had expected. This would also include large bunkers as well. The area was termed Anlage Mitte, as opposed to Anlage East, which would eventually become known as Wolfschanze, or Anlage Süd near Stepina.
So the main bunker out here, there's all these little rooms and a parallel tunnel for support. And we all know how I like tunnels. And this one is the whole length of the train bunker. Of course, you're not going to have a platform and have Hitler jump out the train and just walk in all the way back to the original opening. So I'm going to come through a place like this, a place like this. This is immensely long. I wonder if this would hold the entire train and all support. Well, of course it's wet in here, but it's always wet wherever I go, isn't it? I knew there was going to be a massive hallway next to it, and that's almost the most impressive part. Oh well. Yep. This is another exit in a bit full of water now, but that's the train. Care. We've come this far to see Hitler's train bunker. Impressive as it is, not gonna let a little water stand in the way. Now I wonder if there was an airlock between these sections, that this was function as a bunker in itself. That's actually entirely possible. If you look at overpressure valves, ventilation, there are pipes in the walls. Obviously I can't. But here, we know what this is, right? This is for ventilation and air filtration. So these little doors here could individually all be shut.
The area around these bunkers is truly interesting. Initially, it was to be the center of the HQ for Army Group Center, and the seat of the general government was initially situated here in Spala as well, until Hans Frank took over in 1942 and moved to Krakow. The decision to build the headquarters Anlage Mitte was made here as late as September or even October 1940. It was planned that by June 1941, in Konewka and Jeleniów, the two complexes of reinforced concrete shelters would have to be set up. The bunkers were codenamed Askania, after the chemical company investing in these projects. They were constructed by the OT and Reich Arbeitsdienst workers under the construction company Philipp Holzmann AG. Within a year, two similar complexes of objects like this had been built here, and they were somewhat different from each other both in shape and length, as I will show you. Two more in other locations were also constructed, even more different.
Here's another way out. That would have to have been some sort of a secure, specific secure door outside. And of course you got cabling running through the walls, as we always see.
The first camps for workers was organized by Organisation Tod and the Reich Arbeitsdienst. They were set up and began construction works for the two large concrete train shelters with their respective infrastructure. These complexes were meant to be huge railroad shelters, which could shelter whole sets of staff trains, several of which the Germans have been using here since the beginning of the war as mobile centers of command for military staffs, and of course Hitler's train as well.
This is just immense. I don't know. I hope you're experiencing this with me, except your feet is probably not as wet as mine, but I just have to see if there's a steel door. They just, well, they just break them up at random, and that's fine. They're fairly thick too. The train tracks running in there. Wow. Is this a resemblance of a door? No. This is a resemblance of more water. That's where the train was. And down here, in all of these walkways, is where the out is. And you see all the connections. These are all that look like they're built with expansion joints. That's really weird. Well, I don't know if it's really weird, but it's a real thing. The rail is post-war, so Muppets with wet feet won't fall in, but that's, you know, what you can expect. So you almost can't see the other end, but we're on the platform. And I wonder, there are little adjacent support rooms. I wonder if there'll be any repair facility possibility. There was a drain that ran under the rails. Of course, there would be sewage and the rail cars that would have to be evacuated. I wonder if these drains would connect to the rail cars and then alleviate the sewage. You got the train and you'd go back down here and then you just continue swimming here. I wonder if the two ends are identical. It can't just be an ending. It's just a dead end hallway. That's almost weird. This is literally just dead ends. There would have been like possibly mounts on the wall here. What do we have here? Well, there could have been a sink. the sink there. It's kind of hard to see what that could have been. But there's a cable that's running to it and down the wall there. There could also be cables that ran up here with wood all along the ceiling. So, for attachments. Whether they're stacking red bricks everywhere, I don't know. The wood has almost gone up there for the attachments. This is a cool place. And this is certainly nice and quiet. And yet it continues on the outside. So the hallway on the inside has ended. Well, it would end around here, inside this wall to my left. And the train was never supposed to go in and out of two separate ends. That's interesting. Was it really supposed to just stop here? Or is this I can't tell. I cannot tell. I suppose this is what it would have looked like. Pretty sure that's the wrong train. But, so here, we would have another out. Plain and simple. Yeah, there's nature out there. That would have been another out. And here's one sample of the steel doors that would have been in the dividing hallway. But I don't think it belongs here. Now this is post-war, something that is for the museum, but this door here, well, it doesn't fit in this fitting here. And of course there's rubber and it's a little worn, and that is a bullet impact in there, which makes sense. Well, it makes sense in the sense that somebody took a shot from all the way down there. So the train was only supposed to go in and out on the same direction. That's interesting. What a massive bunker this is. I wonder what resources went into building it. There's a few of these too. Big bunkers are big fun. And there's really not a whole lot to say about this, although there must have been some sort of infrastructure to support this. Electrical components running through the walls. And then on the other side of the platform, there would be slight support, some technical. And it's straight. I actually, for some reason, thought it curved. I don't know why I had that idea. I just thought for At one point I've seen one of these that curves over a stretch, but I don't. Well, obviously it's not this one. This is arrow straight, one way in, one way out. Oh, this is interesting. When you go up here, it looks like there's a ventilation. There was a metal ventilation that ran through this metal pipe here that will ventilate the air. See how that's metal that's cracked, and there's the tubes up to the outside with slight grates in the side, capture the air, steam, and ventilate out. Leaning up, it could be a connector running up to these. It does look like a sort of expansion joints, although it's wood. They're interspersed by wood. And I don't know why they would want to make this, give this the ability to give. I mean, either it holds up to bombing or it doesn't. There's not really two ways about this. And the rails are sitting on cement. But technical cabling would run throughout here. I'd also be curious to know if you could refill the train from in here. Refill, resupply. Was it possible to do that here? So here is a different connection. Oh, there's even a little crack up there. The ventilation intake, but there's nothing between these sections. I don't know what that means. Into the technical channels. There is a technical underground, and the most slippery staircase I have ever seen. The smallest. You know how you don't go down a staircase? Wow, this way. The way I'm doing now, because I want to hold the camera so you can see what I see. Yeah, I should just have ignored you bravely and done it differently. Oh, this is cool. I don't know what I'm looking at. You're seeing it. I'm not. Oh. Okay. Wow. So, holy. There's a lot of underground. I also can't help but to notice how there's actually sway here. Wow. Under the track here for a minute? No, I thought I was under. And now it opens up. This is what you don't see every day. Why do these people keep giving me the keys to these places? This is cool. That's where the train was. And the staircase down. So, technical tunnel. That gives a light on the technical tunnel. So we'll see what we're doing. I knew there had to be some sort of supply to this place. This is leading laterally away from the actual train. Don't know where it's going, but it now goes around a circle. Now, holy crap. This just became a whole lot more elaborate than I had thought. First we were circling one way, now we're circling the other way. Damn. And where's that going? I am intrigued. I am intrigued. Mother of it. So this circles all the way back again to where we came from. So here's a parallel underground tunnel. There's actually 3 of them. So where does it go? They're gonna lock me in here for sure. They're gonna forget I'm here and gonna lock me in. That happened before. But you all know that's gonna happen now. I'm gonna get stuck here, no cell reception, nothing. Cross pipe. So, at some point, I don't know where I'm gonna come to this way. I'm going back towards the train. Coming down to a crawl. And a lot of water that I don't care about. Okay, that spins in that way. All right, let's go back to where I came from and go the other way, because the other way is where the support must be. Okay, what do you lead? How much are you leading to a train? Water, electricity, underground, and what's above me? There must be something large, substantial above me. Plus, there must be a bunker to support Hitler if he got here. Because if he got here, there's an air raid, then they would have to stash him somewhere, right? Okay, this leads up into some sort of okay, this led up. All right, okay, I'm seeing wood in the walls, metal holders. This is wicked cool. That's not a word I've ever used before. So, wow. He doesn't just go up here, but yeah. All of a sudden it got fun. There's an out up into something. Don't worry, I'm not running out of here yet. This is, I know what this is, and so do you. This is a massive ventilation, triple ventilation grate that's been cut off for scrappers for the metal. There's 3 layers here of these crossbars, so there's no way to shoot in, or and I am, low crawling here. And here's another one. And you look at all the pipes. This is where I would think a generator, power station, something would be going on around here for, well, maybe this train needed a lot more ventilation than I had originally thought. But this is an original layer. I don't know if the staircase is original, but certainly would have been there. So, you see where the multiple pipes up, and what am I looking at here? Generally, this is a technical room. Reinforced. Now go on here. Machinery in front of this, which was not a window, but a massive ventilation grate. This was massive. Look at this. How can they get away with not having this locked off? I mean, strange people would crawl in here, wouldn't they? So this leads down to that upward-shaped hallway. All right. There's a small ventilation grate of the same kind up there. What is all of this support? So obviously this is the technical room to support the facility and the train, but what I don't know is how big and extensive is the actual facility. What is the facility? This is where a generator would be, at the very least one. This is definitely where you would have generator. You have an enormous technical tunnels running underneath here. And here's the other tunnel that runs alongside of the train. It almost must. No, it can't be. This can't run parallel to the train, because if it did, the train would be to my left, and there's an opening in the wall. So let's look at the steel roof. This is a proper bunker, and here we can go out. This was an actual entrance. Wow, look at this. All of a sudden, this became a massive construction. Here you see a massive construction. This is reminiscent of the machine station at Wolfslayer, except this is not planted with camouflage. This is just moss that happened over the years. This is the other ventilation window from the outside. There was a massive grate in front of this window. And of course everything was fenced in with a Sperrgebiet. And look at this massive complex of power stations. The bunkers here. Then you have the underground tunnel. And here is the actual train bunker. Just look at this. two of these enormous ventilation windows. What the heck is a power station? You can really see the layers. And this was inside the compound, so to speak. So let's see what's in here. This smaller building here that connects. So this is where the hallway runs next to this. Yeah, there it is. Wow. Here you go. And another power station, or another power plant would have been placed here on this platform, I presume. And here's more in there. I see with a number of steel beams supporting the doorways here. That's ventilation grates over there. Yeah. There's no roof on this. I could swear this was going to be a solid bunker. There was probably a wooden roof. This could have been... Well, clearly no more roof in here. That's the strangest thing. Train bunkers there. And then this support building without a roof for the main power station here. That way. Yes, I do want to go that way. What a massive, massive place. This is a power bunker. All right. There's something else looming over here in the forest. What is that? What have we here? Well, so there had to be some more infrastructure to protect the dignitaries in case of an air raid, but this is the bunker for water cooling. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. This is again a technical structure. That looks like one of the original lamps. What this was the fuel tanks for the generator that were in here, in this little bunker. And again, you see we are inside a secure area. Fence poles still remain throughout. And here's the fuel bunker. It's like nicely overgrown with moss, good camouflage now, but back then you had the hangers for camouflage nets. And I honestly don't know if they planted trees on the back of this for camouflage. It's hard to say, because I can't get up there and I can't fly a drone up there because, well, all I would be able to see is trees. Kind of see the separation.
This particular train shelter is 355 meters long, which makes it somewhat shorter than some of the others, which reaches 380. The shelter is 9.5 meters high with a base of 15 meters. It has a dome shape slightly reminiscent of that of a Winkelturm, and for the same reason, in order to deflect bomb drops. The technical bunkers containing generator, boiler room, and interestingly enough, the curved tunnels were for ventilating to push warmed up air and filtered air through the underground channels into the railway shelter. And the shelters also had water supply systems, water tanks in them. The bunkers were also furnished with water supply installations and for sewage and dehydrating systems.
I don't think there was one collective chimney here. I think all these little pipes is to disperse the ventilation or the smoke signature. That's what I think that was. Here is weatherproofing in the groove on the outside. So there was an expansion segment to these. Here's something that was ruined. Don't know what that was. The foundation of something. It's not that it's a new thing seeing broken foundations, but a little technical hallway. There could have been a building here.
This particular train bunker was never used by Hitler. The war in the East had moved so fast there was no need, and they eventually were put to use for other things, such as munition storage in the bunkers and a repair shop for Daimler-Benz airplane engines in the long train bunker itself. Now, some 15 kilometers from this first bunker, driving through an area covered of bunkers, is the next large train shelter. It's slightly different from the first, this one being 380 meters long. The completed bunkers were camouflaged against the possibility of air detection by having installed wooden tar roofs on the ceilings and the camouflage nets and dummy trees as well. The area around it was surrounded by 2 rows of chain-link fences, barbed wire, and minefields. However, this too was left unused, and at the end of 1943, under the code name Hoon, the first freight train with 30 cars and a repair shop for airplane engines arrived here and was established.
Well, alright, here we see how thick the steel of the entrance was. There will be 2 hinged doors. And this one curves. Rail tracks are still here. And let us just for a minute complain for 1 second about the graffiti and then move on from it. There's nothing we can do about it. They were here, they did it. It is what it is. But now we can, in peace and quiet, explore the architecture and design of one of these massive bunkers. And I'm going to start doing something I wanted to do. The other one and take a look at one of the platform. Obviously it's full of water, but so are my shoes, so that's all right. Okay, this is where the hallway is. That dead ends here. So this is the walkway that runs along the entire bunker. And that's not as interesting to me as the segments on the other side. Well, this is just an out. That's not as interesting as I thought. Okay, full of mosquitoes, obviously. I'm gonna be that guy. I walk right in the middle of the tracks. Hotel runs under this platform, as one would expect. Given the amount of cables that we have seen coming out of the massive generator station. And this clearly curves. You can feel it as you walk through it. So again, what, 380 meters long. Interesting. The track here is embedded in cement. And here it disappears. I wonder if this was repurposed at some point. I think it was. Almost must have been. But see now the train tracks are gone. So far, I don't see the access to the technical room. Here's just another out. So these are just literally doors. It just leads out. Ooh, what do we have over there? Oopsie daisy. That's where the power plant is. I wonder if there was not an underground, must have been an underground hallway to run up to this. This is just a door built in, not covered. We saw parts of the other one. All right, now it's nice to know. Now I know where that is. I guess I won't have to search through the woods to find the generator room. But where's the subfloor, the underground to it? I wonder.
Now, there are stories in this area about the production of secret weapons, rockets, ammunition, synthetic gasoline in the shelters and their undergrounds. This is still sought after today, and it is somewhat doubtful if they actually ever existed. In October 1944, all equipment was dismantled and transported to an unknown destination, along with its crew.
Well, at least I posted that I was here. The technical tunnel is mercilessly wet. But we've been through that. I'm not expecting to see anything new in the parallel tunnel, except mosquitoes and water. I still see the tracks protruding somewhat. I still don't see the access to the underground, which is a little interesting to me. Yeah, some things don't change. Maybe it's down here. That's another door out. I see the technical underground. And there's been some fires and damage in here, which is a damn shame. But again, this gives an interesting view of the ventilation graft, of the ventilation intake up here. These fires are just, they're trashed and dirty. I want to see if the long side is closed. I know it's cooler when it's curved, but the graffiti we could have done without. Oh well, didn't I just say we're not going to complain about that? Well, you know, sometimes. What the hell happened here? What the hell happened here? What the hell? It looks like an initial explosion, and then somebody tried to tunnel. Don't tell me you're looking for something here. Oh, this is the very end of this, just like we've seen before. That's an interesting. I wonder if somebody bricked it up. No, this is original. This is original. Full of rebar. See how heavily reinforced the wall is. Alright, now I gotta go back and have a look and see why it's reinforced on the other end. There's more people in here. It's always more fun when there's more people in here. Hey guys. You meet the strangest people in tunnels nowadays. Fuck me. So, why this thing. We'll smell the smoke in here. That's fine. Smoke, wet, mud, whatever. So this is the other side. This is strange. Smells of powder in here, like gunpowder, cordite. Why was this bricked up here? And why did they try to blow it from the other side? They've been digging here a little bit too, I guess. A lot of attachments on the walls. Here, pipes, stands. It's very interesting how the rust is behaving different here. Could this be seats? And there are room dividers as well. That has at least some sort of partitioning that went all the way down. They weren't very thick, but I wonder where that come from. I wonder why. See all the other. Let's see, this goes all the way down to the. All right, that was interesting. But there's no underground tunnels here that I can see an entrance to. And there's some just slightly different divides. And it's, even if they're partly identical, they're still different. Which always makes exploring different forts and bunkers interesting, because even if they are made from the same plan, there were evolutions and solutions that was enacted to make them still unique. Alright, that's where we come out on the other end, which has then presumably curved around the technical tunnel. Technical buildings over there. Now look at all that rebar that's just coming out of the sides of this thing. That's really interesting to see. Look at this. This must have been for camouflage. They had time to build these, they weren't in a hurry. I don't see any pipes or bars protruding from the side of this like it did from the other one. That's interesting. I wonder why. And there are a number of different things, holes that I didn't see. Same type of partitioning. Well camouflaged, I guess. There is a lot of holes in the ground out here. A lot of these square holes protruding from nature. I wonder why. It's not close defensive, not close protection. And here's another one covered up. Speaking of large holes, there's something I recognize from Reich construction. A ventilation grate. And you can really see. I mean, they must have had trees at least close by and then tied together over it. There's not that little alcove that's built to it for the long-running tunnel. There is a tunnel running inside here, but it is simply just running inside the wall. There's not a specific little outbuild as you see on the other one. Although this may be a simpler, cheaper build that would obtain the same effect. Let's go take a look at the technical building, see what we can see. Alright, let's have a look at this thing. Again, fire. It's not a shadow, it's just fire, soot, crap. And here you see those small ventilation grooves that were so protected. They've been cut down for the metal by scrappers were here. The rooms, other than that, so far identical, except this groove is where the steel beams were in place. They've also been removed. Here, one of those heavy steel beams separating the rooms. So let's see what's in here. The same. Just a big secure bunker for the production of electricity. And the other one. Exactly the same design and layout. You would have a supply entrance. And there's the water bunker over there. Exactly the same layout, same distance. Generally, we're looking at exactly the same bunkers, same layout, same design, same distance between them, except on this one I would say that the main bunker, the train bunker, rail bunker, is a little further away, and I don't think there was an underground connection as there was in the other. Mounting is for machinery equipment. Actually, I wonder why the oil tank wasn't incorporated in this in some way. I suppose it didn't need to be. Oh, there might have been an underground connection. Let's see. Window, the upstairs and the downstairs. So, if there's downstairs, I'm hoping for tunnels. My hope has been dashed. Well, there was a technical tunnel leading to the other one, and you know how much I love you guys. I'm not swimming through that one. That is completely flooded. But it doesn't look like this is different layout. There would have been a staircase here before. I don't think this is as big as the other one. I don't think there's that dual-sided parallel cable connection. I think there was just a single cable hallway here. And also there's a ladder into it. This was a slightly simplified construction of the one we saw before, which is interesting. It just Same function with slightly less effort and materials, I would imagine. Huge steel doors on there. And a wrecked building with no roof there as well. Technical support offices, I imagine. And through that entrance would be the closest one to the generator here. And if that doesn't have any technical entrance to the underground, then possibly there was none. Let's just go check again around there just for the heck of it. Alright, that's the entrance closest to the bunker. Alright, and here is where the technical tunnel connection would be, if there was one. Of course, since this has been cemented over, it could have just been hidden. And this being the opposing side, it's not here. No, it's not here. All right. But it has been resurfaced. I don't know to what height. Not very much, I don't think. But it's possible that underground access have just been cemented over. It looks like this has been turned into a driveway in some way. And that's an out.
But remember what I told you about this area being littered with different bunkers, security zones, Sperrgebiets, Tobruk bunkers, and command bunkers for the German army. I started looking at these as the placement was somewhat in a circle around the first bunker at Jena, but not quite. And within town, there's a lot of different types of bunkers that I hadn't expected to see, since they don't really come under what you would say a security zone for close defense, rather something expecting a full-scale invasion. We'll take a look at these and this area in general.
There is nothing here. Nothing tactical, nothing strategic. We're even far from Hitler's headquarters, Mauerwald. There's nothing here. But there's a bunker. It's listed as Regelbauten, although I have a problem with it. I'm not sure this is a Regelbauten. Let's see what we're looking at here. Shocking, a destroyed bunker. Well, it is German. And it is well demolished. We are so deep inside Poland. Why would anybody bother blowing it up? It ceases to amaze me why these things always have to be, or have to have been destroyed. But looking at it, knowing what's behind me, it makes sense now. We have Panzerplatte, firing position, and another, and there was another there that's been removed by scrappers. You even have the little support stand for the MG08 or Maxim, whatever this was. Fairly decent thickness on the roof, fairly well protected. But this was not for fighting as such. This was to protect something. To protect something or someone that would arrive in there. It is interesting to see how it have come apart in bricks. And what makes it interesting is I actually don't see any rebar. That's a little bit there sticking out of it. This was demolished because there was not a whole lot of rebar holding it together. There is in the frontal wall here, the protective wall, and the sides, but I don't think there was any in any of these big pieces. I'm actually surprised it's here. I'm glad it's here, don't get me wrong. One bit of the roof is peeling off there as well. Yes, on the front, how pieces came off the explosion. And the steel plate in place. Behind me is Werner von Braun's first test stand. Down the road is Diebner's nuclear reactor. Over there is the Maginot Line and all its amazing forts. I'm visiting them all and I'm bringing them to you. So I really appreciate you like, follow, and share what I'm doing, trying to document all these important historical locations. And if you feel like you want to watch more pictures or documents that I use for these, go to lostbattlefields.com. And if you feel like helping me out with my travels, because gasoline and travel and airfare is expensive, my PayPal is there, protectionserviceint.com. You are more than welcome, but you don't have to. I appreciate all your support and all your help, and I love seeing these locations, and I love bringing them to you.